Like and subscribe, and let's get straight to it. The United States military is garbage. It is a corporate-ran military. And a corporate-ran military is not like a regular military or a state-ran military that is designed to protect the state. A corporate-ran military is about profit maximization. Not so much defense, but profit maximization. It wants to make a profit off of everything. That is its first goal, to make money. And to make money, one of the things you have to do is cut cost. The United States military is a cost-cutting military that values profit over defense. And any shortcut that this country can take to defend and attack other countries is going to do. Now, let me explain to you why the United States military is garbage. First of all, the United States uses the oceans as defense. The United States uses the oceans as defense. And it fights proxy wars. It uses other countries to do its dirty work. It is using Ukraine to attack Russia. It is using Israel to control the Middle East. The United States has 800 bases spread all over the world. And they only have about 1,000 to 2,000 people on these bases. And their job is covert activities, assassinations, and spreading false propaganda to get away with the assassinations. That is the United States offense. The 800 bases and propaganda, which are used for propaganda purposes, is for offense. Defense is the oceans. Start the war and start the proxy war in somebody else's country, and then fight from there. Do a build-up, do a military build-up in another country, and then attack the country that you want to attack, thereby keeping the United States out of harm's way. Now, let me explain how sanctions are used for offense. Because the dollar is used is used for exchange of goods and services, if you want to purchase something from another country, you have to take your money and exchange it into the American dollar to purchase from other countries. Now, if America sanctions you and does not allow you to exchange your currency for the American dollar, then you can't purchase goods and service or the military weaponry you need to make or purchase military goods to defend yourself. So America uses sanctions for, I guess you could say, use sanctions for offense and defense. It prevents you from buying what you need to defend yourself. Especially if America is planning on attacking you. And so America can use it for defense, but it can also use it for offense by limiting your ability to protect yourself by purchasing what you need. And that is the United States military is garbage. Because once you bypass the sanctions through the black market, you can get what you want and you can start your buildup, which is what Russia, Iran, North Korea, and other countries have been doing to defeat the sanctions. They have been building up their militaries. If the United States wants to attack a country, the first thing they do is they use those 800 bases to pass false propaganda, false narrative to the people, so they will think that their leaders are against the people. And the United States is pretending to defend them. This is what happened in Iraq with George Bush. And now we know that Iraq did not have weapons of mass destruction. It was not going to attack the United States. Gaddafi was not a threat to the United States. He wanted to come up with a common currency for Africa, and Obama led the charge to destroy him. So now you see how, and they did it with propaganda first propaganda, then you attack. That is the United States military. And it's cheap to do that because you don't have to produce weapons. You don't have to increase technology. And it takes less people to do this. That is how a corporate military runs. That is also garbage. The United States strategy is now defunct because of the internet. Everybody understands the game that the United States is playing. So let's look at the 800 bases that are designed for assassinations and propaganda. Well, the internet has defeated that because now you have an alternative to the American media, which is nothing but a bunch of lies. Now, those 800 bases are of no value. Those 800 bases contain about 1,000 to 2,000 American personnel. America cannot defend those bases, and those bases are not able to defend themselves. They weren't built to defend themselves. They were built for covert activities. Now, all of those bases, which will, I would say, contains at least 2,000 personnel on average, those 160,000 military people and with probably a couple thousand civilians, American civilians, can be overran by the people of those countries. 2,000 people cannot stop a uprising of about 20, 30,000 upset people who know that you have lied to them. So America can't defend those bases. So they are no longer an asset. They are a liability that the United States cannot defend. Now, I've stated in the thumbnail that the United States military cannot defeat Burkina Faso. And if it could have defeated Burkina Faso, it would have done so 2 years ago. Unfortunately, the United States military, this is where BRICS is playing chess and the United States is playing checkers. Russia knew that the United States was planning on launching an attack on Russia from the Ukraine. This is another reason why they did not allow Ukraine to be a part of NATO, because that would have given the ball game up and it would have been an attack by America and NATO on Russia. See, this is covert stuff. But Putin, being the military genius that he is, he attacked the United States first. And the United States was happy about that because they can now they can create the false narrative that Russia attacked Ukraine, when the reality is NATO was building up Ukraine to attack Russia. But Putin always believes in strike first, ask questions later. So now the United States feels that because of the sanctions, they have weakened Russia's ability to defend themselves. But see, Russia has started the buildup years and years ago and setting themselves up for this war years and years ago with the help of Iran. They were using the black market to get whatever they wanted to get. And they were still doing business with the United States because sanctions only go so far. Some things they'll let you buy, some things they won't. That's how sanctions work. Now, the United States felt that through attrition, they would defeat Russia. But then something funny happened. Hamas attacked Israel. The United States runs to defend Israel. Now the United States is fighting a war on two fronts. They are fighting basically Iran, who is supplying the weapons to the Houthis, Hezbollah, and Hamas. And they are fighting Ukraine, who is fighting Russia. You have a country of, I don't know, somewhere below 30,000 people fighting a country that contains over 30, I don't know, maybe somewhere underneath 30 million people, way underneath 30 million. I don't know, no more than about 10 million people trying to fight a country of over 150 million people. Who do you think's going to win that? Well, Russia's going to win that. And with the United States fighting, this is why Trump said he wanted NATO to get more involved. But see, NATO likes to sit back and let the United States do all the heavy lifting. See, Trump realized that we're spending money on two fronts. And losing. And Putin already stated that he can defeat, I don't want to get off the subject, but Putin already said that he can defeat NATO in 2 years. But I don't want to get off the subject. So point two I want to make is that corporate militaries look toward profit maximization. So instead of the United States building its military complex in the United States was outsourcing the making of parts and then wanting to bring those parts back to the United States and put things together and then just connect things up. So therefore, China and other countries control America's ability to produce its arsenal. Point three, China has cut off antimony to the United States, a necessary element for the production of nuclear warheads and bombs. You see, the trade war, the tariff, and the sanctions against China doesn't care because the United States is more dependent upon China than China is dependent upon the United States. So boom, chess against checkers. One, Putin attacked Ukraine. So now the United States has to spend military assets in Ukraine. Then what happens? Hamas attacks Israel. Now the United States is fighting two proxy wars, and is not, and our military machinery is not built to fight wars. It's built for assassination and covert activities, selling a false narrative to the rest of the world. Boom, South Africa, chess against checkers. South Africa does what? File a lawsuit against Israel in the ICC, in the ICJ, International Court of Justice, against Israel. Now what happens? The false narrative is gone. South Africa controls the narrative. So the United States is losing on three fronts: militarily to Russia, economically to China, and now they've lost the narrative as the world savior because of South Africa. So they've lost the war on three fronts. And I explained this long ago. So all we're doing is seeing the playing out of a game of chess against checkers. Now Trump wants to back out of Ukraine because the United States is being defeated by Russia. First off, when the country of Niger had its coup and told the United States to get out of Niger, and the United States said no. And then Russia came and did what? Put troops on the same base with the United States troops. And what did the United States do? Did they get into a confrontation with Russia? No. The United States left. The United States knows, because of the way they are being defeated in the proxy war in Ukraine, that they cannot defeat Russia. So now what does Russia do? Russia takes a nuclear submarine and ships to Cuba and ends the blockade of the United States of Cuba. So now Cuba can get the resources its country needs, oil, gas, or whatever, from Russia, Japan, and other BRICS countries. So the United States military, this is just another, I say this just to prove that the United States military is garbage. It could not defeat Russia, and it knows it. And Russia's already said, I'll take out NATO in 2 years. The United States corporate military is garbage. Another point I want to make is that the United States military does not have the weaponry, the military assets to defeat Russia. Nor has the United States have the technology to defeat Russia. China has the technology. China has the technology, and the United States got mad at China because the United States wanted China to just give them the technology. No. China is sharing technology with Russia, not the United States. So we're technologically behind. And all the military weaponry that we were given to third world countries was just outdated garbage. And the United States was unprepared for a drone warfare. The United States was not prepared for a drone warfare. And Iran has more drones, more bombs than the United States has. So the United States can't defeat Iran. And then Russia is going to defend Iran. So the United States got away with this little bit of covert activities. Covert activities. The paralyzing of the the paralyzing of the port in Iran. But that's not going to hurt Iran, because Russia can fly in, Russia, China can fly in anything that Iran needs. It's going to slow things up, but militarily, Iran's got everything. Militarily, Iran can destroy everything the United States has in the Red Sea, which is what the Houthis have been doing anyway. An aircraft carrier is just a big target because of drone warfare. And those drones have to be, and those $20,000, $30,000 drones have to be shot down by missiles that cost over $1 million. And they have a limited amount of them because they're on the ocean. They have to transport them. And Iran, they got thousands and thousands and thousands of them in tunnels. Now check this out. They can easily fly 1,000 dummy drones with no nuclear capabilities at the aircraft carriers. And they're going to be shooting down these placebos with $1 million missiles. Then after they run out of those $1 million missiles, then Iran can shoot drones with warheads on them and missiles with warheads on them. And the United States can only come so close. Because as long as those drones, because now they got drones that's gonna go that can go 500 miles. So forget it. But they're not going to let the United States know, and they're going to get them from guess who? Russia and China. United States is playing checkers, and Russia, China, they're playing chess. United States is playing checkers, they're playing chess. Now, the last few things I want to say is that Israel, trying to defend Israel, is a logistical nightmare. First of all, Israel is condensed. So you can look at your globe, look at a map, and look at the size of Israel compared to Iran. Iran is 100 times the size of Israel. So you don't know all the bombing you do. One bomb will do more damage in Israel because of the density than it will do to 100 will do to Iran because of the size. It is a logistic nightmare. And Israel, excuse me, I hope I got this right. And Israel is fighting the Yemens, Hezbollah, Houthis, now Iran, and Hamas. They are surrounded. And Turkey is ready to attack Israel. And then China and Egypt are doing military exercises on the border of Egypt and Israel. A logistical nightmare. Israel, it's just a matter of time before Netanyahu has Israel wiped off the map. And Russia already proved that it can defeat the United States when it kicked the United States out of Niger, and when it kicked the and then when it stopped the blockade of supplies coming into Cuba. So all this is game. I told you all this 2 years ago. This is just game, set, and match. It's over. And then you have people talking about, oh, well, I wonder if BRICS is going to work. BRICS is like a snowball rolling down a hill, just picking up more snow. And as Africa rises, the United States is going down. So this stuff about America attacking Burkina Faso is a joke. Because the first thing they're going to do is start blowing up those American bases, killing that propaganda machine. And then when all that information, when Americans realize that their sons and daughters are being slaughtered on those military bases, that's when that's when America's going to have to look at things objectively, through objectivity, and not be subjective, because now you're not going what you want to hear, you will not hear. Like, subscribe, talk to you later.